Welcome to Coffee Break with Rachel Vigil, taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel Vigil.
We've already talked about how bad the Broncos offense could possibly be, but of course, all of the gradings are starting to come out, the gradings, the rankings, and Bill Barnwell, give me it to me.
Bill Barnwell.
Thank you. Bill, I don't think I could say it. You know those days where you just can't talk?
Yeah.
Bill Barnwell.
Yes.
Bill Barnwell. There we go. I can't say it again. Besides, Bill's from ESPN.
Yes.
He's
Billy.
putting out his rankings on the wide receivers, the running backs, and the tight ends, and where the Broncos rank and all of those. We love Bill. Bill's a great guy. Richie Carni's in here, obviously, giving me names
The
and
voice
everything.
from afar.
I appreciate you. Where do you think the Broncos rank?
In what?
In running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends.
Okay, those are three
Just
individual rankings, or is it all a group?
all one group.
All a group?
Where do
running
they
backs,
rank
wide
out of
receivers,
32?
tight ends.
Best in the league. Putting them up there in number 10.
23.
Wow. Okay, but why?
Well, the tight end room is going to drag them down to the bottom of this list like a sinking ship.
Okay.
For sure. I think wide receiver is going to be a little bit of a mixed bag because I think that Bill is traditionally pretty sharp and pretty astute with his analysis of. I think Bill's probably going to say something along the lines of Courtland Sutton still has big playmaking potential and all that, but he's older and he's not as explosive as he used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of a middle tier, but you have some exciting youth like Marvin Mims and things like that.
Yep.
And for Bo Nix, and then the running back room, I think he's going to give a little bit of a boost because of some of the additions that they brought in, even though Javonte Williams is kind of, flat.
Mid.
So I'm going to go below average, right around 23.
Okay.
Bottom third.
Let me just read the first sentence of this. The days when Denver had a promising young group of playmakers have passed.
Okay. I feel good.
That's not good.
Feel good so far.
Jerry Jeudy never had his breakout before being traded to the Browns in March. Tim Patrick hasn't played in 2 years. Javonte Williams tore up his knee and averaged 3.6 yards per carry while generating minus 83 rush yards over expectations on 217 attempts last season. So it makes me think that they're not too high. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Dulcich caught 3 passes. You're not wrong. Even
Record
Marvin
high.
Mims didn't do much behind Jeudy in the lineup. They are putting the Broncos at number 30.
Wow, that's worse than I thought it would be. But you know what? I'm not going to argue with the logic,
Nope.
And as you were reading that, I was like, man, I was giving him too much credit.
You were.
23 would have been like, whoa,
Let's
who are
see
these
who comes
guys?
in at number 23. Oh, interesting.
The Saints?
Nope.
Oh, I was like, of course.
Right. No, they come in at number 25.
Okay, close.
Number 23. AFC West. Just take a gander.
Chargers.
Nope. The Raiders.
The Raiders.
The Raiders are coming in at number 23.
Are the Chargers lower than that? Because they lost everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Are they 32?
Yes, they are.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
The Chargers sit at number 32, yeah. In 2023, guess where they ranked?
The Chargers?
Mm-hmm.
12.
5.
5?
In 2022, they ranked 6th. The Broncos last year ranked 24th, and in 2022, they ranked 14th. Dang, the turn that the Chargers had, though, is drastic.
Yeah, I mean, you lose Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Will. I mean,
Yeah.
Listen, the Broncos playmakers, as Billy B has astutely pointed out,
We love Billy B.
they don't have anybody, and they lost Jeudy from that group. But imagine how would we be talking about the Broncos if they lost Courtland Sutton, Javonte Williams, and Greg Dulcich, who, even though he only caught 3 passes, is still one of the higher thought of names in that room.
Yeah.
Imagine how we would be talking about them. That's what the Chargers are going through.
It's totally
they lost
fair.
their 3 biggest playmakers in one offseason.
I don't know, man. I just kind of sit here and I'm like, I just think Harbaugh is going to do something, though, this year.
I agree with you.
Finally going to get Justin Herbert to be like the guy?
It just feels like it's destined to happen, and it's just going to drive me nuts because I can't stand him.
So
But
is it going to be Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, Broncos in the AFC West this year?
I mean, the top, the Chiefs are going to be at the top because they're the Chiefs are fighting well out of their
Although if the
weight
Chiefs
class.
ever lost Patrick Mahomes, they're going to tank so hard.
Well, they went from a playoff team 12-4 with Alex Smith into Patrick Mahomes. So who's to say that organization, with the way that they've been able to evaluate
Who's
talent,
even their backup quarterback?
It's probably like some 35-year-old veteran, like it was Chad Henne for a while, and
Carson Wentz.
oh my gosh, of course. And you know what? I could see a situation where Patrick Mahomes gets a dinged up knee and Carson Wentz comes in for a half and throws like 2 touchdowns and 185 yards in 2 quarters and whatever. I don't know if it's going to be, you said Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, Broncos.
Yep.
I don't think the Broncos finish higher than 3rd, but I don't know about the Chargers and the Raiders because the Raiders are kind of a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got Gardner Minshew, love forever.
Really?
I love Gardner Minshew.
Because of the stash?
Yeah, just as a person, as a personality, he's just a vibe.
But not as a quarterback.
And he's had moments where he's like popped as a quarterback that I think have exceeded his very low draft expectations.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, he's not passing a confetti test. I don't think anybody that's bringing in Gardner Minshew is going to be like, oh, we're in the division hunt now.
Yeah.
So they've got him and Aiden O'Connell, who was also a disaster, but somehow managed to beat the Broncos.
Yeah.
Twice.
Indeed. Because the Broncos are a disaster.
Yeah. And so I don't know.
Yesterday, I did a solo session, and I had somebody who messaged me, and they were like, Rachel, stop being real and just give us hope. And I'm like, it is way worse to have hope and to be disappointed in that sense instead of just being like straight up told and know what you're getting into in the season. Right?
Yeah, listen,
Could you imagine if we sat here and we were like, oh my gosh, the Broncos are going to finally make it back to the playoffs and they win
Clear
6
your calendar in February.
People would be so angry at me. They'd be like, Rachel, you said this. I'd be like, but I was just trying to give hope.
Yes, I do think that at times, given whatever the climate around it is, I'm okay with a little bit of
fluff,
self-delusion, just because you got to make it through the next day. You know what I mean? Like you got to go. But by and large, I totally align with you of just like, I'm a big boy, big girl, just shoot me straight. If they're going to suck, I get it. But like, don't, sell me something that's not real.
Me being like nice and saying, oh, like, here's my fluff is they could win 9 games. They could. It might be a possibility. Do I think they're going to
They won 8 last year.
Yeah, but I think they're gonna be worse than last year.
I wouldn't fault it with a rookie quarterback. I mean,
let's just go through their schedule real quick.
Yeah. I mean, with a rookie quarterback, that's the ultimate boom or bust, right? Like sometimes you get a rookie quarterback that storms into the league like RG3, like Patrick Mahomes, like, whatever. And it's just like, lights the world on fire. I mean, the Bengals went 3-13 in Joe Burrow's rookie year, but then they went like 13-3 the next year and went to like a Super Bowl, or the next year he was fully healthy.
Do you find it interesting that Joe Burrow thinks everybody's doubting him?
No. I mean, yeah, I find it interesting, but it's like we see this all the time. I mean, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce were painting the Chiefs as underdogs if they weren't like massive favorites on the road, or like because they weren't favored in the opening lines of a playoff game or something like that. And they're like, oh, they don't believe, like all that stuff. And, we've seen it with Coach Prime. The Last Dance documentary with Michael Jordan, he's the greatest player of all time. And they're going to three-peat twice in 2 different stints for championships. And he's still finding ways to manufacture disrespect. So am I surprised? No, but it is kind of funny.
Okay. Broncos schedule. Seahawks, win or loss?
That just feels like an L. I don't know why.
Okay, I'm with you. L. Steelers. L.
See, I'm gonna pivot here. I think that's gonna be a W because Sean Payton lost the Nathaniel Hackett game. That was the first last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that had to stick in his craw so bad. And his whole attitude toward Nathaniel Hackett and all that, he did have the double latte moment where he called Nathaniel Hackett the worst NFL coach in history.
Mm-hmm.
But his disdain and just utter hatred and disgust for Russell Wilson is so much stronger than whatever he felt toward Nathaniel Hackett and on his first year.
He loves him.
I think Sean Payton would cut off his foot to win this game against the Steelers at home in week 2 where Russell is almost assuredly still going to be starting.
You know what's crazy? I've actually heard this from multiple people. 3 now at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Sean Payton calls meetings at 2 a.m. during the season?
No, I did not know
2
that.
a.m. I've heard it from 3 different people.
About what?
Anything and everything. That man lives and breathes football. Isn't that crazy? Yeah,
That's crazy.
He will call a meeting at 2 a.m.
And he wonders why he's not happy. You know, like,
dude, your health.
The signs are there.
Okay, Bucks.
With Baker L. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm actually going to change. I'm going to say Seahawks. They get a win because
You think they're going to go 1-2 in the first 3 games?
I do.
Somehow.
Yep.
Okay.
Jets. I think they're going to lose.
Yeah.
Raiders.
Until I think the Broncos are going to lose every divisional game against the Raiders until they prove me otherwise.
Okay.
They've lost, what is it, 8 in a row now?
Yeah.
So
they're 1-5.
Until further notice.
1-4.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers 2-4.
Yep.
Saints 3-4.
As Sean Payton on the road on Thursday Night Football on his homecoming week, is he going to spoil? What week is that?
Week 8.
Week 8. How many games do we think is Bo Nix starting?
Yeah.
How many games do we think Bo Nix has started? All 8?
8.
You think he's the starter week 1?
Yep. James Merritt and this whole don't throw. Seattle is a hard place to play. Who gives a crap?
It is a hard place to play.
Who cares?
But all right, I'll give him the win on that one for the same personal reasons with Russell Wilson, just less aggressive.
Okay, so 4-4. Panthers 5-4. Ravens 5-5.
Fat L.
Chiefs 5-6.
Yep.
Falcons.
They're a mess too, but yeah, they've got a quarterback this time. L.
5-7.
Because they got a killer. They have killer skill position groups and okay defense, and now they have a passable quarterback.
Raiders 5-8. Browns.
Are we assuming Deshaun Watson's playing and all that? Yes, then that would be an L. I think they're good.
5-9. Colts.
Yep. Anthony Richardson.
I feel like that's such a toss-up.
He's probably that's a wild card. I'll take a close, ugly loss in that one.
So 6-8. I think that's what we're at. Chargers 9 or 7-8.
Did we pick them to win? Because they'll split, and not because the Broncos are better, just because the Chargers always find a way to lose a game they should win. So we'll call that a split.
Okay, so then
that's an L for me because we picked them to win the first one. I think.
Yeah. Now I lost where I was at. That's 6 and something.
Yeah.
Bengals lost. Chiefs lost.
Yeah.
So 6 wins.
Yeah, I think 6-7 wins is reasonable. I think their over under in the desert is like 4.5 or 5.5.
I think it's 5.5.
5.5.
Them and CU have the exact same.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
I think you're
5.5.
right. Yeah. So I think that's totally fair. We're right on the line.
Who more likely is to have success this year, Sean Payton or Coach Prime?
Sean Payton.
Agreed.
Sean Payton. He's more he's more established and kind of adept with the NFL process, the system. Coach Prime is moving to a different conference with a bunch of new opponents, a ton of roster turnover, and dealing with much more juggling. So yeah, and he's not as good of a coach.
Yeah. Okay. Do we care or do we not care? Zach Wilson not at what I'm calling Stidham camp.
Camp Stidham.
Yeah. I love it. I love that he's trying to be the starter. He's trying to be the leader in the group. I appreciate that. I know everybody wants to see Bo Nix. I appreciate it out of Jared.
Somebody's got to do it.
Amen.
You can argue whether or not it should be him or it shouldn't. I do think it's kind of weird that it's him, but I don't think that Zach Wilson or even Bo Nix really has any stronger of a claim to be the guy to do the offseason summit kind of thing.
Summit. We're calling it camp. Okay.
Okay. Offseason. Yeah. Camp Stidham.
Bo Nix obviously in attendance, like you can see on the picture right here. But do you care that Zach Wilson is not there?
What is he missing it for? Do we know?
We don't know. Everybody's like, oh, he just got engaged. Let him live.
Oh, okay. If he's on his honeymoon.
Well, no, he didn't get married. He got engaged.
They're engaged. That's right.
And that was like 2 weeks ago.
No, I don't care. I don't care because I think Zach Wilson understands what's going on here.
Yeah.
And I think that it's not going to hurt, or I don't think it's going to hurt his opportunities this season or his standing within the room. Just like I don't think it would help that much his standing or whatever if he was there. I think it's kind of just This is clearly setting up to be at most, a waiting in the wings for Bo Nix situation. Where I think Stidham's going to start the season.
I go 50-50. Some days I really do think it's going to be Stidham, and some days I'm like, nope, just throw Bo Nix in. Because I'm with you.
Yeah, I want them to just throw Bo Nix out there and do it. You drafted him, just see what he can do. If you had a Matthew Stafford or a Kirk Cousins or a whatever, absolutely.
I'm with you.
But Jarrett Stidham has played 4 more games in the NFL than you and I have.
Yeah.
Okay, which kudos, credit. It's not that much. Zach Wilson has
Zach Wilson's
7
NFL
times
career?
as many starts in the NFL as Jarrett Stidham. I think he's got like 29 or 30 games in the NFL.
Let's just look it up.
So I get it that Stidham was the incumbent from last year. He played a couple of games when they benched Russ at Christmas time. But let's not delude ourselves or pretend like Jarrett Stidham has any sort of claim to a strong arm in terms of being the leader in the clubhouse and all that. They drafted Bo Nix at 12th overall, despite 5 quarterbacks going in the first 11, because they weren't that thrilled with what was going on.
First of all, I just think too, who went before him that wasn't supposed to?
Michael Penix.
To
the Falcons.
That whole situation is crazy.
Yeah, well, and especially because you see the videos of like the Arthur Blank, the owner for the Falcons, like talking to the GM. And it's like, you can clearly tell that the owner is like, what the hell's going on here? And the GM's like, no, it's cool. We got it. Don't worry. Yeah,
would you rather get drafted early and have to sit, or would you rather get drafted later and be able to play? I've always had this conversation with people because I do find it really fascinating.
That's almost counter, because I feel like getting drafted early increases your likelihood of playing. Getting drafted later means you would sit. So by the premise of your question, would I rather get drafted early and sit behind a quarterback like Michael Penix, or get drafted late and play?
Right, like there's a pride thing in it.
Paxton Lynch kind of situation, even though he sat for a long time too.
There's a pride in like, I got drafted in the top 10, baby. Let's go.
I think people don't care. People won't care about your draft status or your positioning and all that. It's if you play well. If you play bad and you validate getting drafted lower, or you play well and you invalidate getting drafted high, people care. But if you play well, Aaron Rodgers was drafted in the 20s. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Right? In every redraft, if you were to redraft that 2000 and whatever draft, 2004, 5, whatever it was, Aaron Rodgers would probably go top 2, if not one, top 3, if not 1 overall. So I would rather... It's a trick answer. I'd rather go to what the best situation is. So if I'm getting drafted high, but still sitting, that means I'm going to a not so good team that has a quarterback in front.
Yep.
Or if I'm getting drafted late, but playing, I'm going to a better team, but I have to start right away. Give me the better team to start right away.
Okay.
I want the better cast around me, because building a team in the NFL is hard.
It is hard. Zach Wilson's played 34 games.
34, I was off.
2023, he played 12. 2022, he played 9. 2021, he played 13.
Yeah, because he had some injuries.
QB rating?
51.
Not even close.
19.
33 in 2021, 38 in 2022, and 30 in 2023.
Yikes. Well,
what did Sean Payton see? That is the question. All right, Richie Carni. Last one for you. I'm glad we don't care. I just want to quickly gather your thoughts on, and this is like 2-minute speed answer.
Got it.
Jamal Murray.
Oh boy.
Should he care about these clauses that could possibly be in his contract or no?
I mean, selfishly, if you're asking me, no, because he is still he's still getting $50+ million a year. He's getting paid like a elite level guard in the NBA.
Yep.
And I think that the organization has, just like I understand him being upset about it, I understand that the organization putting them in there.
Yep.
I don't fault the Nuggets for putting some of that stuff in there. He clearly something was off in that playoff run last year. I know he had the game-winning shot. He had a couple of big shots. One of them that was a de facto game winner.
Yeah.
But even though I don't necessarily like some of the public ways they've gone about it in terms of calling Jamal out multiple times from Booth, Malone, etc.
Yep.
I don't fault him for it.
I feel so differently on this entire situation where I'm like, they clearly are doing this for a reason. It's the exact same thing with Kyler Murray. They clearly don't trust that you're going to do a bunch of different things to make sure you either maintain weight if it's about weight, have a certain amount of games, whatever the clauses may be. But also if I'm Jamal, I'm definitely like, wait a second. I just saved your asses a few times with some clutch games. So like a big finger to you.
Yeah, I think Jamal has the a little bit of recency to say, hey, we're 2 years removed now from winning a title, in which during that title run, Jamal was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, he played some of the best basketball of his career outside of maybe the bubble.
What you think? Don't say bubble Murray. He gets a little
it's
angry.
championship Murray now, right?
Oh.
But in the bubble, when he was trading 50 burgers with Donovan Mitchell and they came back from down 3-1 twice and all that, that was the most electric we've ever seen him. The title run eclipsed that because it went further and it didn't have the stipulation of being in the bubble and all of that. But just like the NFL's what have you done for me lately league, I think that's a little bit of professional sports in general.
Yep.
And Jamal's one of the hallmarks of Jamal's career has been the roller coaster nature of it, the inconsistency of it. When he's on, when Jamal Murray's on, he's a top 10 guard in the NBA.
Easy.
A lot of the time. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
But when he's off, he's off. And who else does that sound like? Michael Porter Jr. It's, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not exclusive to Jamal, but it was not they choked in that playoff series against Minnesota.
Yep.
They were the favorite. They had a game 7 at home. They had a chance to close out before that. They won 3 straight with a chance to close out at home. They lost 2 in a row, one of them in blowout fashion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, and Jamal was awful during those games. So
they might not have advanced out of the first round if it wasn't for MPJ.
Yeah. No, he was unbelievable. Yeah.
So that just shows you that he wants to be guard number 1, which he is, but let's be
Jamal's
real.
way better than Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah,
though, so he has no case for that.
But you can't choke like that.
No, you can't. You can't. And I don't want to put it all on him because, frankly, Michael Porter Jr. was bad. Aaron Gordon, offensively only had spots, which is kind of typical for him. Jokic wasn't playing his best basketball. Now, Jokic's off night is an unbelievable night for almost any other player in the NBA. But to be fair, so yeah, I don't think that he should care. I understand why he would. But they've got a window here that they've got to maximize. And if you're Jamal and you want to care that deeply about it, okay, you want to go to Charlotte. I bet Charlotte would pay. I bet Charlotte would pay you the same. Jamal Murray can get the money that the Nuggets are offering him from other teams in the NBA.
Do you want
without
the
those
rings?
clauses? Do you want to keep this core together? Do you want to win a championship?
Although
That's what it is.
The core is no longer. KCP's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, KCP, it's a sad day. All right, that is going to do it for today's episode of Coffee Break, though. Definitely a lot of Bronco talk. It's starting to heat up as training camp gets closer and closer and closer, but the Jamal rumors that are flying are definitely interesting. Huge shout out to Richie Carni. We appreciate him. And to all of you guys in the comments, thank you so much, and we'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.